Right. I am just going to say it straight right off the bat today.
Go on then.
If this one actually happens, if this goes through, Liverpool might have just mugged off half of Europe.
It is a massive claim, but looking at the sources we have today, you are not wrong.
I mean, 50 million quid for Nico Schlotterbeck, and we have apparently nicked him right under Real Madrid's nose. And Barcelona were sniffing around too. Tell me that wouldn't be the most Liverpool thing ever.
It would be a classic heist.
Yeah.
That is exactly what it feels like.
Because this isn't just a transfer rumor, lads. This is a statement.
A huge statement.
So, quick context for everyone joining this deep dive. The club are reportedly preparing a proper offer to Borussia Dortmund for Schlotterbeck.
Right, and we need to be clear on the terminology here.
Yeah, exactly. Not a cheeky inquiry, not a loan.
No.
A real bid. Serious money.
Yeah.
Around 50 million pounds.
Which is significant. The phrasing in the source material is very specific. A proper offer means they have moved past the monitoring phase.
They mean business. And before anyone in the comments goes, who? If you have watched the Bundesliga, you already know. This lad is not hype.
Definitely not.
He is genuine class. And if you are buzzing about Liverpool actually fixing the defense for once, do me a favor, smash the like button for me, Red. Let's see if we can wake the algorithm up at Anfield before kickoff.
It is definitely something to get excited about.
So our mission today, the whole point of this deep dive, is to explain why. We are not just talking about a rumor, we're talking about why this specific player profile, why he changes the entire geometry of Liverpool's team.
Geometry is the perfect word for it, actually, because this isn't just about buying a good player. It is about tactical evolution.
Yeah.
And it is about succession planning for the post-Van Dijk era.
Which is a scary thought, but we have to go there. So let's jump into section 1 of our sources here, the profile. Because Schlotterbeck isn't just quote-unquote a center back.
No, the archetype is very specific.
The source unpacks what he isn't first, which I love. It says he is not a Joel Matip type.
Right. Matip was brilliant, but he was very unorthodox.
Yeah.
He had that languid, sort of chaotic dribbling style.
Like a giraffe on ice skates.
Exactly. But he was right-footed. Schlotterbeck is not that.
And he is not an Ibrahima Konaté clone either.
No. Konaté is an absolute physical powerhouse. He dominates through sheer force and speed.
A brick wall.
Yeah. And the source makes a point to say Schlotterbeck is definitely not a panic buy.
So what is he? The source uses this specific term, a unicorn.
He's a unicorn.
He is a left-footed, ball-playing center half.
And we really need to pause on that because people might hear left-footed and think, well, so what? Use your right foot. But managers at the elite level, they obsess over this specific profile.
Why is it so rare? The source mentions Madrid collecting them like Pokemon.
Because it completely changes the physics of your build-up play. If you have a right-footed player on the left side of central defense like Virgil has played for years when he gets the ball from the keeper, his body is naturally closed off.
He is facing inwards towards the right side of the pitch.
Exactly. To pass down the left touchline, he has to open his hips, which takes a split second. Or he has to wrap his right foot around the ball, which means the pass naturally curls towards the middle of the pitch.
Towards the pressing attacker.
Right. It invites pressure. But a left-footed player, he receives the ball open to the whole field. His natural passing arc takes the ball away from the defender and down the line. It is a massive, massive advantage.
And that leads perfectly into the Arne Slot fit, because Slot's football depends on build-up from the back. But the source emphasizes it isn't just passing sideways.
No, it is about vertical progression.
Vertical progression, splitting lines, dragging pressers out of shape, starting attacks from deep.
That is the difference between safe possession and dangerous possession. Slot doesn't want center backs who just recycle the ball. He wants them to be the first playmakers.
And Schlotterbeck fits this.
Perfectly. Because he has the bravery to hold the ball until the pressing forward commits. And then he zips a pass through the gap that the forward just left open.
Which brings us to the tactical deep dive, section 2. Because there is a specific skill highlighted here that Liverpool defenders honestly haven't consistently done since peak Van Dijk was at his absolute physical best.
Breaking the press.
On his own. He breaks a press on his own. The source says he will carry the ball 30 yards up the pitch like a midfielder.
And you have to visualize the chaos that causes for a defending team.
Right, picture it.
You have an opponent sitting in a solid block. They are marking everyone. And suddenly, a center back just drives straight at them with the ball.
The first defensive line is just gone.
It is broken. So what happens? The opponent's midfielders panic. They have to step up to engage him.
Which leaves the Liverpool midfielders free.
Exactly. And because the midfield is out of shape, the opponent's fullbacks have to tuck in to cover the center. Their wingers have to drop deep.
The whole shape just collapses. Space opens up everywhere.
And the source has a brilliant definition for this. It says this isn't defending.
That's control.
Control. It is dictating exactly how the opponent has to react to you, rather than you reacting to them.
And it notes this explains why Barcelona were sniffing around. Because they desperately need defenders who can play, not just headed away into row Z.
Right, Barca's whole identity is based on that kind of control.
But Liverpool stepping in. That tells you Slot wants to reshape how we start attacks, which means we need to talk about the structural issue we currently have. Because right now, let's be honest, Liverpool have a problem.
There is a very specific limitation with the current personnel.
The source calls it the dead loop. And I know every single person listening has screamed at their telly because of this dead loop.
It is incredibly frustrating to watch.
Break it down for us. What is the dead loop?
It usually happens against high-pressing teams, especially away from Anfield. The ball goes from the keeper to the center back, let's say Konaté.
Right.
The opponent presses him fast. Konaté is brilliant physically, but as the source notes, he is still developing his ball playing under extreme pressure, so the angles are cut off.
So what does he do?
He passes back to the keeper.
Then the keeper gets pressed.
Exactly. The keeper has no short option, so he goes long. It is a 50-50 ball, we lose the header, turnover, and suddenly the pressure is right back on us.
Keeper to center back to keeper, long ball, turnover, dead.
And Van Dijk, while still elite, is less willing to constantly step into that midfield traffic to carry the ball out himself these days. He relies more on his positioning and long passing.
So we just get stuck. We get suffocated.
We do.
But Schlotterbeck is the solution. Because of that left-footed dynamic we talked about, he instantly changes the passing lanes.
He opens the pitch properly on the left side. He can hit angles that a right footer simply cannot naturally hit under pressure. If they press him, he just clips it down the line or drives inside. The loop is broken.
Okay, so we break the loop. But section 4 of our deep dive is where I really get excited. Because it's about the domino effect. It is about unlocking the rest of the squad.
It is never just about one player in a vacuum.
Exactly. Let's talk about the Trent Alexander-Arnold factor. The Trent in midfield debate.
It is the biggest tactical debate of the last few years.
But the source points out something crucial. Moving Trent into midfield isn't just a tweak. It is not just telling him to stand somewhere else.
Yeah, it requires security behind him.
Explain that for the listeners. Why does Trent moving forward depend on the left-sided center back?
Because when Trent inverts into midfield, he vacates the right back space. If we lose the ball, that entire right channel is empty.
Wide open.
So the defense has to shift across to cover it. The right side of center back moves wider, which means the left side center back has to move across and cover huge, huge spaces on the left.
And Schlotterbeck can do that.
That is literally his game. He defends wide spaces aggressively. If he can lock down that left side securely, it allows Trent to invert without creating absolute chaos behind him.
It makes the Trent system solid, rather than a massive gamble every time we lose the ball.
Precisely.
And it affects Andrew Robertson, too.
Oh, massively.
Freeing Robertson to advance earlier.
Right, because if Robbo knows the ball progression is secure, if he trusts Schlotterbeck to handle the press, he doesn't have to hang back to offer a safe passing option. He can push high immediately.
Which pins the opposition winger back.
Exactly.
But mate, the Mo Salah connection, the diagonal, this is the bit in the notes that had me buzzing.
It is a lethal weapon.
The source calls it his signature move. Schlotterbeck loves a 40-yard diagonal pass to the right wing.
He does it all the time at Dortmund.
Just imagine that efficiency gain. Picture it. We don't need 6 passes to get the ball from our left side over to Salah on the right.
You bypass the entire midfield battle.
Imagine Mo Salah receiving the ball in space, isolated against a fullback instantly.
Without the defending team having time to shift their defensive block across the pitch.
It is devastating. You are not just signing a defender. You are upgrading the entire offensive build-up system.
You are speeding up your attack by seconds, which is a lifetime in the Premier League.
Right. But we have to talk about the risks. This is a deep dive. We look at everything. And Section 5 covers the risks and the reality.
And there is a real risk here.
The source calls it the aggression tax. I love that phrase.
It is very accurate.
Because he is aggressive, sometimes too aggressive.
He is a front foot defender.
Yeah.
He wants to win the ball before the striker even controls it.
Which is great when it works. But the specific flaw highlighted here is stepping out early and leaving space behind.
Yes.
In the Bundesliga, maybe get away with that. The transition speed is different, teams cover differently, but the source warns about the Premier League adaptation.
The Premier League is unforgiving.
It names names: Haaland, Isak, Watkins.
If you step out early against Erling Haaland and you miss the interception, you are not catching him. The space behind you is a runway.
And Watkins will just drag you out of position all day.
Alexander Isak thrives on those exact gaps. If you leave a hole in your defensive line in England, elite strikers will punish you instantly. That is the aggression tax you have to pay.
So how does Slot manage that? Does he coach it out of him? Or does it come down to the succession plan?
I think it is the succession plan. You look at the timeline, Virgil van Dijk is a legend, but he won't be there forever.
The source says Liverpool historically don't wait for a player to decline. They transition early.
Which is the smart way to run a football club.
Well,
you don't want to be desperate for a center back when your main guy suddenly loses his legs.
So the big question is, does VVD mentor him or does he replace him long term?
Initially, it has to be mentorship. Having Virgil next to him, talking him through the game, telling him when to step out and when to hold the line. That is invaluable for a 24-year-old adapting to a new league.
And speaking of 24-year-olds, let's talk about the valuation. £50 million for a 24-year-old elite profile center back.
The source calls it a belter deal.
A belter deal. In today's market, where you see average players going for 60, 70 million, getting a unicorn profile for 50 feels like daylight robbery.
It is exceptional business if they pull it off. You are buying a player who hasn't even hit his prime years yet.
All right, so as we move to the outro, there is a massive fan debate here. And I want to hear from you lot listening. The source lays out the big questions.
These are the tactical headaches Slot will have to solve.
Exactly. Number one, do you start him immediately next to Van Dijk?
It is tough.
Or do you rotate him with Konaté first? Because dropping Konaté feels harsh when he is fit.
It does feel harsh. But Konaté's injury record means rotation is inevitable anyway. But the idea of Schlotterbeck and Van Dijk together, the pure passing range from the back, it is mouthwatering.
It is. And the bigger question, does this finally unlock Trent in midfield properly?
I think it gives you the ultimate platform to do it. It removes the excuse of defensive vulnerability on the transition.
Tell me in the comments what you think. I will genuinely be reading them tonight. Do you start him straight away? Does it fix the Trent issue? Get in the comments.
It is going to be a fascinating debate.
It really is. But before we wrap, we need to hit this final provocative thought from the source, because it emphasizes the statement nature of this deal again.
It goes back to control.
Right. If Liverpool pulls this off, it signals that Arne Slot is completely reshaping the identity of the team to be more dominant in possession.
And that changes everything. Think about how teams set up against Liverpool.
Yeah.
For years under Klopp, teams were terrified of the counterpress.
The heavy metal football.
Exactly. But now, shifting from a purely defensive mindset at the back to a control mindset. How does that change how the rest of the league plays against you?
Because if you sit deep, Schlotterbeck just pings 40-yard diagonals to Salah and picks you apart.
Right, and if you press high, he just dribbles through your first line and breaks your shape.
It is a lose-lose for the opposition.
It forces other managers to completely rethink their game plans. You are not just controlling the ball, you are controlling the tactical narrative of the match before it even kicks off.
That is heavy. That is a proper tactical evolution. A center back who attacks like a midfielder and controls the game.
It is the future of the position.
Well, if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a beat. We are analyzing the tactics, the profiles, and the reality of these deals every single week.
No media waffle.
Just proper football chat. Send this to your group chat, especially that one mate who still thinks we should sign another striker instead of fixing the defense.
We all have one of those mates.
We do indeed. Right then, thanks for joining us for this one.
Cheers.
Up the Reds.ynwa.